Well, speaking of Epstein there, something I found as fascinating actually was, I seen you talk about it on Sean's show actually quite a couple of months back, was the AI dolls with Epstein. I mean, go down that rabbit hole a small bit because that's mind blowing for some people.
So when Epstein wasn't blackmailing prominent politicians and heads of industry, he was interacting with a lot of scientists. And I'm sure he was blackmailing them too. But one of the things he was definitely doing was he was financing them. He would give money to a variety of different organizations. He gave money. He gave $30 million to a guy named Martin Nowak at Harvard for him to start an evolutionary biology program, which looked at like game theory on population structures and things like that. And it's like, that sounds like a nice way of saying, let's examine eugenics and depopulation. When you're talking about game theory on population, if we do this to this society, it will have what effect? Oh, if we did that, how many people could we eliminate? And all these things. So one of the things that he financed was the guy named Ben Goertzel. And Ben Goertzel is a hardcore AI scientist guy. He started a company called Singularity.net, and he's involved in robotics. He was the co-founder with Hanson Robotics that built the Sofia robot. Now, the Sofia robot was this AI sort of female looking human robot that had like the back of the head was kind of opened up Terminator style where you could see all the circuitry and everything. And it was about 2 years ago or so when this was all in the headlines, but Saudi Arabia granted citizenship to Sofia, the AI robot, in some PR stunt and everything. Ironic that they give rights to the AI robot woman, but not the actual women, but that's a different story. So, but they brought this robot out and it was like, oh, isn't this interesting? It's like an AI doll or what, an AI robot, millions of dollars probably it cost. And like I said, it was partly a PR stunt. Well, but Ben Goertzel, one of the guys that was doing it with David Hanson, Hanson Robotics, he also has his own thing going on. Epstein gave him $6.5 million to design a little Sofia AI doll that was about 16 inches high. It wasn't going to be this multi-million-dollar doll. It was going to be a much smaller consumer product targeting for emotional intelligence was the term that they used for girls 8 years and up. So what this doll had in it, you ever see that movie, The Game, with Michael Douglas and Sean Penn, where they've got that robot clown that they put in the corner that's eyes are actual cameras and it's watching everything? This little Sofia robot doll is like that. Cameras, Wi-Fi, microphone, geofencing, tracking, and it's recording all its interactions with these girls for emotional intelligence. So just for a minute, allow your mind to go to this place where the scientist who's funded by Jeffrey Epstein is creating these interactive dolls that go into the bedroom of some little girl that records what she's saying, watches what she's doing, feeds this information back to some system somewhere, some mainframe computer that analyzes it. They've got a geo tracker on it so they know where this kid is. What's to stop Jeffrey Epstein from getting together with his sicko friends and placing orders for little kids to go kidnap them later? I mean, there's nothing. You would have all of this information. You could literally open a catalog of kids that you wanted to abduct. Now, if Hasbro or Mattel or Disney, well, maybe Disney's the wrong example, but if one of these toy companies wanted to make a doll like this, I might be able to get on board with it because I could say, well, it's sort of it's the evolution of dolls. I remember Teddy Ruxpin back in the 80s was this doll that talked and everything. And it might just be like, the third generation of that, where it's like, not only does it talk, but it'll listen to you and it can communicate. I could maybe get on board with that. But the fact that Epstein's behind it, you have to ask, what was the plan? What was the plan for this? And that is something that is very real, that is happening. So he was taking money to finance these people. And you wonder what the agenda was. You know, he's working on depopulation. You know, he's tied in with all of these guys.